Demon Slayer fans have been waiting for quite a long time now for the fourth season to finally arrive. Season 3 ended on a rather joyous note, with Nezuko learning about her abilities more. In a desperate attempt to save Tanjiro, she jumped away from the shadows and into the rising sun. By the way, please consider subscribing if you guys want to hear my weekly reviews about the episodes. Please subscribe. So, Demon Slayer Hashira Training Arc premiered with an almost hour-long episode. Fans were previously worried about how the arc would be divided considering it's only 9 chapters in the manga. The first episode takes things slow, starting off with Sanemi Shinazugawa and Obanai Iguro chasing after a demon who kidnapped a girl. Through their chase, they briefly encounter the Infinity Castle. The entire episode is a mixture of what is to come and what has happened already. Shinobu is trying her level best in figuring out how Nezuko overcame the demon's weakness against sunlight, while behind the scenes Tamayo is doing the same. The Hashira learns about what the Demon Slayer mark is, one that only 3 people have been accounted for currently: Tanjiro, Tokito, and Kanjori. The series shifts then to the fact that the Hashira must bring their A-game, considering that Muzan would be going above and beyond to get his hand on Nezuko. The Hashira are preparing themselves to go through a toilsome amount of training so as to activate their own Demon Slayer mark. However, things aren't as easy as they seem. All those who have manifested the mark are confirmed to die by the age of 25, without exceptions. That means the fates of Tanjiro, Tokito, and Kanjori are set in stone. There is a beautiful blend of comedy mixed with the serious tone the anime will focus on. The voice actors alongside the animation are spot on. They aren't in a rush with the season, that is evident. Nezuko's newfound freedom has also given her the opportunity to practice her speech. This melancholy drives through the inevitable death the Hashira would be inviting upon themselves, and Kagaya Ubuyashiki's health declines rapidly. He is practically immobile. The Hashira training arc is not only a way to improve the skills of the Demon Slayers, but also the Hashiras are improving. Each Hashira has a role to play, with Tengen being in charge of physical strength, Tokido of rapid movement training, Mitsuri of flexibility, Iguro of sword skills, Shinazugawa of infinite slashing training, and Himejima of muscle amplification. The concluding scenes bring back Tamayo, who received a crow from Kagaya Ubuyashiki as an invitation. He proposes the idea of a collaboration between her and Shinobu in order to better study Nezuko and thus help in defeating Muzan. This brings about something that is rare to find, even one that is looked down upon: a collaboration between demons and demon slayers. Also, watching the Hashira meeting to discuss everything that is going on is interesting, but it leads to some more awkward pacing issues, especially when the situation is dire and there should be a sense of urgency. This episode is setting up the rest of the season, so it does make sense to spend the first episode talking through what is going to happen. The problem is that it takes quite a long time to get to the point. The Hashira are planning a new training regime to prepare to face Muzan. They don't know what his plans are, but they need to be prepared. It is important to see the process here and how they are going about it, so even if it starts to drag on a bit. It is a hard balance to find, but it does land well more often than it fails. Of course, it also does not help that the bulk of the episode keeps going back and forth between serious discussions and attempts at humor. Characters are seen discussing important plot points only to then dive into an over-the-top outburst. Or in the case of eternally annoying Zenitsu, an obsessive rant about how attracted he is to Nezuko and he is unable to prevent himself from having another uncontrollable outburst. These moments are a representation of Demon Slayer, but they often take away from the seriousness of the series. What the Hashira are planning to do and how Tanjiro fits into all of it is important, so is explaining what has happened to them. But when all of that is broken into by awkward attempts at comedy, it can detract from the overall experience. Despite its flaws, Demon Slayer Season 4, Episode 1 is a massively important episode. It does a great job of setting the expectations for the rest of the season and brings everyone up to speed on all of the major characters and their circumstances. It helps that the episode ends in a way that brings some massive changes to the future of the series and the lives of Tanjiro and Nezuko. Demon Slayer Season 4 Episode 1 is a decent season premiere that struggles with pacing but finds a good landing spot. There is a lot that needs to be explained, so hopefully the action picks up from here now that the stage is set. Yes, it's kinda seemed like it was a filler episode, but it was alright for the first episode. That's all I have got for today. Thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing for more weekly reviews.